So, but at any rate, yeah, it's great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out, and I'm looking forward to getting into the new book, and
Yep.
I'm going to kind of toss it over to you and ask you a little bit about what 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 was kind of the impulse to
Sure.
put this book together.
Sure.
So first and foremost, let's get into how did this begin? How did the nexus of this idea begin and take hold?
Yeah. Well, so first, thanks for having me on as well. And
Sure.
you know, the reason I wrote this book is I like to teach, I like to learn, and then I like to teach. And I've been doing that for such a long time. And there's not a day that goes by, in my opinion, that you don't see something somewhere about AI, this animal of AI. And for many people, that AI is this thing that's going to take over the planet. And for lots of others, it is a tool to enhance what they're already doing, to do things better than they're doing already. And that is what I see as the prime directive. Man, that's a scary way to put it. But the reality is, and then there's this other faction of people that are using AI to create non-human content, whether it's images or writing or whatnot. And and in reality, there's a blend of all of that happening. I've written books previously on customer relationship management, and it seemed like a natural thing for me to discuss about how could you use AI ethically, responsibly, to improve your customer relation management. And what I mean by that customer relationship management, don't think of it so much as a big company selling widgets to people around. I mean, everybody uh has customers. I mean, whether you run a landscaping company or even if you don't even have a company, if you do podcasts like we're doing right now, there are people that you as a response if you're responsible in whatever vocation that you do, there is a group of people that you have to communicate with, that you have interact with. And so customer relationship management is really the science, the art of doing that efficiently. And it made sense for me to say, okay, how can you add AI into that mix to make it that much better for yourself? And quite frankly, AI is and when I say AI, for everyone not in the know, that is artificial intelligence. AI is moving at the speed of light. There are websites right now that have a list of AI tools that are in the 3,000 mark level. I mean, that's how many of these tools are out there, and they can do. Some of them are very very specific. The big one that gets all the news is ChatGPT, which is you ask it a question, it's going to give you an answer. But there are things very, very specific, used by artists to, change colors or, or in this case, in CRM case, it's how do I, using AI, how do I better interact with people that, one, I already know, and two, with people I want to know? And how does that work? So my book really is the start of that process. It is not just like my previous book. It's not a technical book. It's on a technical topic, but it's not intended to be like, install this and press that button. Absolutely not. It's much more about if you if you want to go down this path, and the unique position that my books are written in is how not to mess things up, is these are the things you really don't want to do,
Yeah.
and that's the angle I took, and that's kind of my own personal angle that I take on my books, and even on the speaking tours that I do. It's really, and quite frankly, it's novel, but it works for me, and I think most people learn from mistakes. So my point of view is let's learn from someone else's mistakes so you don't have to learn them yourself.
So, I think that's the one thing that I'm curious about. It kind of reminds me in the beginning when podcasting came around. No one knew what it was. And everybody kept saying, well, it's the name of this player, but it's an actual show. And, you can post it out and you can get it on these various
Right.
platforms, and people didn't understand it. But it seems deeper with AI. There's a level of people that just don't get it. And even when you explain it, there's a level of them that may not. But I think that the danger part of this is, do you think Arthur C. Clarke and all these fictitious environments that have been created are making people wary of it, or do we just are we just in tune with the fact that humans get a hold of things and mess it up?
Wow. Never been asked that one. Uh, yes and no. Okay, so let's just cut to the chase. Artificial intelligence is not does not replace human thinking.
Right.
Okay. So I'll use an analogy that I'm making up on the fly. When the first handheld calculator came out, you know, you realized it could say 3 plus 3 and give you the answer amazingly quickly, and much bigger calculations amazingly quickly. It didn't care how hard the problem was. It knew how to do that. Um, but if you said what is 3 plus 3, and whatever that answer is, how does that answer, impact, the environment based upon oil consumption somewhere else? And once you get into those next level things, it requires more human intervention, more contemplating. So the first fallacy that most uninitiated people, or even initiated people, are, people you'd think would know. The first fallacy is that AI is smart. It isn't smart. AI can make the worst decisions in the world, and it can make the worst decisions very, very quickly. And I'll explain it to you very, very, hopefully quickly. AI has to have a set of information to base its decisions on. And if that source of information is inherently wrong, then it will give you wrong answers quickly, efficiently, but wrong.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to show you that is, let's pretend you are an HR department and a recruiting, recruiting for jobs around the world, and you want to make sure that you are recruiting being respectful of diversity in all forms. And if you tell AI that, hey, we want you to include diversity, and as a case study or as your wealth of information, here's everybody we've hired since the founding of this firm 100 years ago. You have access to all of that information. We've been a successful firm. Use that as your information. Okay, well, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you probably weren't hiring people with the level of diversity that you want to have today. But if AI only has that information to work with, it's going to continue making the decisions that were made 100 years ago, using the world eye as it appeared at all those different times. So you're going to keep hiring people improperly. Now, where things like Chat GPT get away with it, and I'm using that word loosely, or that term loosely, is that engines like Chat GPT are using the entire internet as their source. So, or close to that. So as a result, you would hope most of the information is good. So more times than not, your answer will be decent, but it can still make mistakes. And it does make mistakes. And that's why you see sometimes people posting stuff that are just wrong. And so what happens, as what a smart company needs to do is make sure that if they're going to use AI to help speed up whatever thing they're asking it to do, you still need a set of human eyes to do quality control, and make sure that it's still speaking from a voice that you want it to speak from.
That's such a good way of putting it. It really it mimics, I mean, humans are the ones that are driving this machine. And I think about how ignorance can get passed down generationally, like you said with this HR example. People do it all the time. They pass down sexism, racism, and all these other awful things, and it just gets ingrained like it's naturally truth into younger
Right.
successive generations. So if we make sure to correct that, I think the one thing to me about AI that has always kind of spooked me a little bit is no matter if you're a fan or not of Elon Musk, it's undeniable to realize that he is a brilliant human and he comes up with some pretty heavy ideas, and he is a
Or he
trendsetter.
hires people that do it for him. But yes, yes, I understand.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And my thing is, I've seen him in interviews twice with Rogan, and he's brought it up, and he's like, "What do you think about the future of AI and where it can go?" All the color goes out of his face. He literally is just like he's just like shaking his head no. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering why.
Well, here's why. Here, oh, this is my opinion on here's why, and maybe I'm going to have a different opinion tomorrow, but here's my opinion on that. Is because remember how I said just a few moments ago that there has to be a quality check performed?
Hmm.
People are, in my opinion, getting lazier and lazier. And you will see this is that, I mean, if you're on LinkedIn and you see people posting stuff on LinkedIn, if you look at it, and unfortunately it's happening more and more, or anywhere, I'm sure it happens on Facebook and all the social media platforms, um, that there are mistakes in phraseology and YouTube pronunciation. Um, and that's because it was done with AI. But to your point about this, it was done without checking it.
Yeah.
And because it's oh my God, this is amazing. This answer, it's 4 paragraphs long. That's exactly what I needed. Jam it in that pitch deck, get it out the door.
Yeah.
And if you go down the timeline of that mentality, then that's when it gets bad.
Yeah.
Because here's an easiest way to put it. Suppose I use AI as my checker for AI produced content. And that's where it gets ugly.
Yeah.
What I say to people is when companies hire me to help them out go through this kind of conundrum or just even figure out their own position is there someone on your staff that in the last 6 months, 9 months, whatever the time frame, has inexplicit, oh my gosh, without any other reason, has
Yeah.
improved their work product? Are they putting out more of it? Is it coming out quicker? Are they, were they a not meet expectation person and all of a sudden they're the superstar of your company? Is that happening? And dollars to donuts, it's happening. Um, and I say, well, why? That person didn't, find the magic bean. What's happening? And it is frequently because that person is 2 steps ahead of the company with their use of AI. And, the risk to corporations with using large scale AI, and also for everyone here, uh, there's there's really 2 camps of AI type of tools. Ones that you put inside your company that looks at your company's stuff, and then the other one that looks throughout the world, like ChatGPT,
Yeah.
that looks at everybody's stuff. And of course, there's hybrids of the two. But what happens as a result is, let's just make up a fictional, person, and their boss came to them and it's Friday night and said, "Hey, by Monday morning, we have this huge proposal that we're going to make a big speech in front of our most prestigious potential opportunity client. and we need to hit a home run, and we need this thing to really rock, and you need to work 48 hours straight over the weekend. Pizza's on us. You just work. Well, in the old days, that's what we did. We got a conference room and we worked, and we went to the library. We referenced stuff. We went through all of our old assignments and our case studies. We did all those things. It's not what's happening frequently now. People are putting in hey, make a 40-page pitch deck for XYZ client based upon this RFP, and you kind of push the RFP, request for proposal for those who don't know, into the engine. So the engine sees what they're asking, and then using these 5 decks that we've used before for similar, and merge all this together to make a new presentation that we can give on Monday morning. And that's happening all the time now. Here's the problem with that. There's a huge risk because you just uploaded, in my fictitious case here, your company's 5 favorite proposals that you've done, and you've put them into that engine, and now everyone on the planet has access to that information. So it has huge privacy issues. It has huge legal problems. So going back to what I was saying is, and this is actually one of the things I talk about in my book. If you are a company, if you're an organization, and if you have nothing else, this is the first thing you have to do. Get yourself a policy. You can find them on Google. You can write me. I'll help you send you some. Get a company policy on the use of AI at your company or at your organization to protect yourself. Kind of like, if you do this, this is going to happen to you. Because it sounds like it's all icing on the cake, and there is huge liability, especially going back to that scenario. If someone, this person that I made up for that had to do this work over the weekend, the information that they're getting off the internet, that might be intellectual property.
Yeah.
That might be copywritten. You could get yourself in a world of hurt and not even know it. So I'm not trying to scare, everybody out there. I'm saying, look, there's plenty of time for you to wrangle all this stuff in, but just don't sit and let it come to you, because, one of the fallacies I say to everyone that I speak to, if you think you and your organization are not using AI and you're going to adopt it sometime later this year or next year, or whatever, if you think your company's not using it, you're tragically wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody in your company is using it to some level. Many people are using it way above the limit that you thought would evenly be possible. And you need to get your arms around that. So just
Yeah.
make a policy, make it aware, and that at least covers you in the short term, until your attorneys check it out. And then if you're going to put out your own proper way of using AI, and there's plenty of ways to do this, then you're in control of it. But not doing anything is just not an option anymore.
It's interesting you bring that up, because this digital frontier that we're getting into with AI is a lot like no one knew how to police like internet policy within companies. Like, how do you deal with this? It's not like a regular crime or like a regular thing. But with all of this AI, it makes me think about Wikipedia, where people would freak out about information and being
Mm-hmm.
wrong. And if you proliferate this wrong thing, it's just going to get proliferated down the line. So if you have bad AI and you're trying to harvest more AI out of bad AI, it's the snake eating its tail. It's going to be disastrous.
Could be. It could be. I mean, the good thing about things like Wikipedia, or even programs that are, open source by nature, there are more people that want it right than want it wrong.
Yeah.
And it does, to some level, self-scrub it. With the use of AI, which brings us back to what we started out this conversation with, you need an adult, mature set of eyes looking at what you are going to do with whatever AI helped you make, whether it's a piece of art, or if it's a novel, or whatever. There are plenty of, if you go on YouTube right now and you just typed in create a novel with AI in 10 minutes, You can do it.
Yeah,
You absolutely can do it. Um, so to the lazy at heart, I don't know if that's a saying or not, but maybe it should be, but to the lazy at heart, it's a gold mine of that. It's a gold mine.
absolutely. So at the end of the day, what are you hoping people get from your book? What do you hope they walk away with new
Yeah.
revelations about?
I my book is targeted towards companies, organizations of any size. It really doesn't matter. And it's for the company that either has just started using AI or is wants to put their big toe into the pool. Um, it is you can be a technical person or you can be a non-technical person. I think you'll get something out of it. But it talks about if you're going to go down this journey, the things you don't want to do. I want to help people. I can't know what my readers company organization does. As a consultant, I come in and I interview. Obviously, as an author, you buy the book and you're just reading it.
Yeah,
So I can't tell you what to do. I think giving you the 10 best ways to do X is just kind of, to me, look, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's, an issue I have in my own head. Uh, I don't want you to tell me what the best way to do X is, because I guarantee you when I go down that list, I'm going to say that won't work with my company. That will never pass. I don't have the money for that. So what I'm telling you with my books is what not to do, with the hope that by going down this path, by the time you get down the path that I'm putting in front of you, or the bumpy path I'm putting down in front of you, that at the end of that, you'll have enough knowledge to start going in your own route and know which way you need to go. So, for example, I already mentioned the one, if you think your company's not using AI, they are, you need to do something about it. Get a policy out there. Um, if you're going to go down the path of AI, don't do it for any other reason than to align it with maximizing profit, or whatever your company's ultimate goal is. Do not do it because everyone else is doing it. You will fail. Okay? You
yeah,
will fail. You need to tack on high dollars to this. Is like, I'm going to use it to decrease proposal time by 50%. That 50%, I can make that into X amount of human hours. X amount of human hours is this, and really dial it into making money. Also, uh, make sure you manage expectations of your company and the users.
yeah,
Don't some folks think it's like, you're hiring a wizard and all your problems go away. It just isn't that. And then some folks think that, hey, I'm going to use it and then it's going to pump out perfect material. It absolutely will not do that. And then, you think about, if you're going to have it work and improve your work product at your firm, make sure that the work product that you want it to learn from is as close to flawless as possible. You don't want to have it looking at all 10 versions of your favorite pitch deck. You want it to have it look at one of them. The crappy ones, I was about to say a curse there. The bad ones, you don't want it looking at. Okay.
yeah,
And then above all, and this goes for CRM and artificial intelligence in CRM, your company and everybody in it has to have a sharing mindset. If everyone is not on board and everyone is not sharing information, then none of these systems work,
yeah,
because you are limiting the horsepower. A CRM system can forecast for you. An AI can make things faster for you. But if it doesn't have access to your smartest persons intellectual property that they produced, if that person's squirreling it away in a corner because it's mine, this won't work.
yeah, yeah. This has been fascinating. Very well said. I would Amazon's the best place to go to pick it up.
My book, yes, yes.
Okay, okay, wonderful. Michael, it's always great to catch up with you. We need to have a part 3. We need to have it be jazz centric. So let's pick it up down the line. Thank you again for having a wonderful conversation. I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you too. Take care.
Best of,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you. Take care.